The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Everybody, welcome to 2001 A Space Odyssey chat. I'm just kidding. It is Mattalk. We are here to talk to you guys. And during this episode, I had to look up because I heard what sounded like the voice of HAL 9000 from 2001. And sure enough, I was inside of an episode of Mattalk. So my two discs did not get switched. I was like, that'd be really weird if just randomly I have a defective disc that when you play this episode, it's 2001 A Space Odyssey. But it was not. It just, they have a robot that sounds like that. And the soundtrack in this episode, well, we're going to get into all of that down the line here, ladies and gentlemen. But I just want to know, I wish we still lived in the 80s, man, to think that you could go on a date for two people with $10 is just blows my mind.
Wait a minute, that's your big takeaway from the episode is you could go on a date for $10.
Yes, absolutely yes, because can't barely go on a date for $40 nowadays. You could go out for $10. And I vaguely remember that because I went on dates in 5th grade, and I don't remember them costing more than $20 with food and drinks and movie tickets. But man, you can't do that now. You go to the movies now, you're looking at $60 if you get snacks.
All right. First of all, I do appreciate the fact that you thought that this was an episode, or that you thought this episode was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Slightly better, by the way, this episode of Mattalk than that crappy movie 2001: A Space Odyssey.
A great film about the.
I'm bringing the hot takes right out of the gate, folks.
See, John, you guys don't know, John doesn't really like deep movies, and
whatever. Get out of town. Get out of here.
I love 2001 because it shows where we've been to where we are now and where we're going and the evolution of humanity. I like that movie a lot.
All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that topic of two.
Will.
Yes.
I don't like a lot of out there movies, but I do like some. John, I don't think likes any out there movies. Do you like out there movies?
I loved Rubber.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Rubber was a great movie from Magnet Films about a steel-belted radial tire that kills people in a small little town.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I'd watch that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I like to keep you up with what I'm watching week to week, and I took a little break from Murder, She Wrote, and I am now in the world of Quantum Leap. If you have a Walmart by you, it's $9.99 for the complete series, all 5 seasons, $10, under $10 actually. Go to Walmart, grab it. It's the best entertainment you can get for under $10. I freaking love this show.
Maybe Ben could have gotten his nephew to buy Quantum Leap for $9.99 with that 10 spot he gave him.
Was it out yet? I don't think it was out yet.
No, it wasn't out yet.
When did Quantum Leap come out? Was that the 90s? I haven't even Googled it.
No. I actually want to say it was around this time, 88, I want to say. Because I think it was off the air by 91.
The first episode came out in 89.
89, okay. And how long did it last? So 93. Okay. All right.
5 seasons.
It was a great show.
It really was. And why do you ask that I've randomly decided to grab Quantum Leap? Well, ladies and gentlemen, 1, I know they're talking about rebooting it, and 2, it's not $9.99 for an entire TV show. And I had heard decent things, but I was not prepared for how much I love Quantum Leap.
That's very good. Very well done. Excellent show. I've watched some of them because on 6 o'clock on Charge TV they play Quantum Leap. So I've found myself every once in a while turning it on and enjoying it. But again, much like we talked about last season with Mattalk, you have to let me know when we get to the wrestling episode, because I vividly remember there's a wrestling episode of Quantum Leap.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am prepared to announce that in 30 years, John and I will do Quantum Talk for you guys. Yes, indeed. After Murder Talk and after Diagnosis Talk, we've got Quantum Talk.
I do want to say something too, real quick, since we're going to start diving into this episode, and it's got a very sci-fi theme to it. I think that a lot of TV shows in the '80s had their science fiction kind of episode as well.
Call this episode science fiction is a very, very loose term with the word science fiction. The closest thing to sci-fi we have is the voice of the robot that sounds like HAL 9000.
All
But
right.
the soundtrack is definitely sci-fi.
Okay. I was gonna say, give me
I give that
give
to
me
you.
something on that.
It
Okay.
sounds like sci-fi mixed with a little bit of spy thriller, which is really neither of those.
Mm. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any time. We've spoiled a little bit already of some of our thoughts on this show, so let's jump on into it. So, Jason, let's get ready for our opening statements. The Genius is the episode that we will be reviewing and discussing today, and it originally aired on March 15th, 1988. And Jason, we only have a couple of guest stars, and I, with all due respect to these individuals and everybody that was on the show, it was kind of hard to find folks that had a lot to their resume. Either they did a couple of things here and there, or they did a lot of like one appearances and done. So, but let's start off with Dr. Erwin Bruckner, who will be played by Bill Mumy.
Bill Mumy?
Bill Mumy, yes.
Mumy. Okay, got it.
I think that's his name. I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, Mr. Mumy, if we're mispronouncing it, 1,000 apologies. You may also know him as Lenier on Babylon 5, Greg Mazzy on Space Command, and several characters as a voiceover actor on the animated series Bravest Warrior.
John, you have totally buried the lead here. He was in the 90s classic Double Trouble.
Okay, I'm sorry, that didn't register on my radar.
I've never seen this film. I don't know anything about it. I do remember seeing this trailer at the front of a lot of VHS movies.
Okay. All
It
right.
had David Carradine in it too.
Oh, okay. Who's the stars of Double Trouble?
Peter and David Paul.
Okay.
I'm going to go on a limb and say they didn't make anything else after this, but
okay. Well, let's talk about another great guest star, James Pack as Dr. Paul Liu. You also might know him playing the role of Lightning in Big Trouble in Little China. He was also Hiroshi Hada in Kinjite Forbidden Secrets, a fantastically great movie starring Charles Bronson. That's the only reason why I wrote it down, because I'm like, wait, this sounds like there's some ninjas involved, and you got ninjas with Charles Bronson. I want to see this movie. And of course, Koyo in Invasion USA. Jason, I'm going to make a confession. I've never seen Big Trouble in Little China.
John, I have also never seen Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay. And a lot of my friends have seen it. I have nothing against it. I just never have seen it.
Yeah, right. I'm missing a huge chunk of Kurt Russell's filmdom.
Oh, yeah, same here.
Like, Uncle Ron is right now my favorite Kurt Russell movie. Captain
Ron.
Oh,
okay. I was going to say, who the hell is Uncle Ron?
Captain Ron. Well, he becomes their uncle, kind of.
Have you ever seen the Chuck Norris movie Invasion USA?
Mm.
It was
I'm even more embarrassing to admit that I've seen hardly any Chuck Norris movies except for the hit classic Sidekicks and Expendables too.
Okay. All right.
I need to fix it, but I haven't yet.
Okay. He's got some great ones out there. But let's move on and let's get to our last guest star. It is Lawrence Pressman playing the role of Dr. Jeremy Barnes. You may know him from his role on the CW show Heart of Dixie as Vernon Wilkes. He was also Judge Hurwitz on Boston Legal and Judge Marshall on Crossing Jordan. He's also been on Law and Order multiple times. He's done a lot. He's probably the most veteran of all the actors in this column of guest stars. So, Jason, do you remember him from Boston Legal?
He does look familiar. It's been a minute since I've watched a lot of TV between Boston Legal and now, but I do. He was also on The Practice, which was the Boston Legal was a spinoff of.
Right.
Yeah, he was on Ally McBeal, which also spun off into The Practice and the other. So he definitely got around the David E. Kelly shows.
Thank you. I was going to ask you who created them because I couldn't remember the gentleman's name. So David E. Kelly. Gotcha.
David E. Kelly's still a hot name in television.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure. What's he doing right now?
Big Sky show, Mr. Mercedes. He's on it. He does a lot of shows.
All right. Well, with that, Jason, are you ready to give an opinion? Your opinion and only your opinion, so help you?
It's the only one I have.
Then it's
Yes,
time.
John. Yes, John. I will give my opinion.
Well, Robot Jason, it's time to testify.
Let's testify.
The plot of the episode is when Ben's genius nephew is accused of murder, he assists his uncle with his defense. We start with the opening scene, which I love the digital text that was below at the bottom of the screen. I thought that was a nice touch. And it's a real scientific space age looking building, wasn't it?
It 100% was.
What do you think that was in real life? Because, you know what I mean? Like, I bet it was like a museum.
Probably a museum. I go with the museum.
Okay. Well, we're first introduced to Dr. Redding, who arrives at the Institute. I don't remember what the Institute was called. I'm just going to refer to it as the Institute. And he is not happy. Absolutely not happy. He gives quite an earful to the security guard at the front desk. And don't worry about turning doorknobs. These are all very Star Trek-like doors, right, Jason?
Yes, they are. Like, again, I had to double take because I was like, am I sure I'm watching Mattalk? Did I leave Quantum Leap in? Like, I didn't know what was happening.
Door open. Zzz. Door closed. Zzz. Anyways, man, first of all, Redding is a complete jerk. He is a butthole of the nth degree, man. He crashes into a party that apparently was for his wife, right? And he's just ranting and raving about nobody's turned in the reports, and people are somewhat surprised he's back early from Brazil. And look, in the greater scheme of things, his wife is a pretty good looking woman. He should not treat her like that.
That's true, but you'll find out in like 5 minutes the wife's not a very nice lady either.
No, that's true. Very much so. They do deserve each other. So one evening, Redding is leaving the Institute, and he sees some suspicious folks just bebopping around. And they enter the Institute. So, of course, Redding follows. And what he does is he finds Dr. Bruckner in some hallway of the Institute with a .38 special. And he was using the gun for some type of velocity test or something. And so Redding also wants to know why Irvin didn't stop the mystery man, or men, as I'm not sure how many were entering, from entering the Institute. And so Irwin quips, well, I couldn't stop them. What if I got hurt? And then Redding said, well, you have a gun. Let's be honest. Do you think Irwin would be a good shot?
I don't think Irwin's good at much outside of that computer.
Outside that computer, he's got not too many skills, does he?
No. He is the stereotype that we face daily as geeks. If you told me he walked off the set of Revenge of the Nerds straight onto Mattalk, I would 100% believe you.
So we go to another scene where Dr. Redding is chewing everybody out again because they let somebody in the building. Nobody seems to know anything about it because they weren't there. And then Irwin gets involved in this like tug of war, if you will, with Dr. Redding, who says, hey, your report, man, it's due when I got back. And Irwin said, but you came back early. And he was like, so what? Get it on my desk by the end of the day. And then they all kind of talk that, well, and when I say they, I mean the other scientists, they all talk that, you know, he's basically being set up to be fired.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is not a union gig. So that leads us, Jason, and I want your opinions on this. We find Irwin walking in to the office of Redding, and he finds him dead in his office chair with a .38 special on the floor.
First off, he doesn't run to grab the gun.
True.
Which we're going to find out in a few minutes. It doesn't matter. And
and he didn't touch the body either. One of your pet peeves.
Dude, I rolled my eyes when he just spewed out Matlock's number at first, and then when he said nephew, I'm like, okay, well, that's plausible.
Yeah, and I just find it weird. And maybe it's because they're trying to make Irwin out to be a weirdo, but why would you immediately call Ben? Because a few bullet points later, I'm like, why are they still in the office with the dead body? Why has nobody removed the dead body?
He's
Why?
afraid. He called his lawyer. A lot of people will lawyer up before they call the cops.
Oh my god. Okay. I disagree. I think you should have called the cops first.
Oh no, calling your lawyer first makes you look hella guilty, but
yes, exactly. Oh my god. This gave me a chuckle. I like how Ben awkwardly explains to the security guard why he's there at the institute, and then she puts him in the computer, and he's puzzled and he's in amazement at the fanciness of the operating system. I also did find it somewhat interesting that Irwin can override the door using, what was it, Protocol 6?
yeah.
Seems like your cybersecurity is a little lacking if everyone can know, Irwin can know how to unlock your office door, and it's supposed to be like, quote, the safest office building on the planet.
I think it's by his voice. I think they know the voice. At least that's what they were going
Really? Okay. All right, good on you on that one. You straightened me out on that rant. Okay, well, I already ranted. The dead body's still there, and it's like it's no big deal.
Oh, dude, this scene. I love everything about this scene. Well, okay, so you were here for the body. You got in, secure door, but at least your fingerprints aren't on the gun. Well, it's my gun. And then Matlock at some point says, "Well, you must have killed him."
Yeah, that happens like 3 times. Like, how did you get in here? Well, yeah, Irwin, again, not very skilled at life in general.
I just love the way Ben asked that question. Well, you must have killed him. Like,
Yeah.
you must have. You had to have done this.
Well, the whole evidence hinges on the fact that somebody had to let Irwin into Redding's office. And the prints are all over the gun, and everyone seems to be, by the way, really calm about this death. So I think this goes back to like the Ebenezer Scrooge model. Remember in A Christmas Carol when he finally is in the future and he finds out nobody cared about him dying and nobody attended his funeral, and it just kind of seems it's along those same lines. That Redding was such a jerk that nobody cares, not even his wife.
Oh, dude, she is a level of cold that I have not seen on this show yet. In my notes, are we at the wife now? Is that what
No, go ahead. Let's talk about the wife. Go ahead.
As soon as I saw her on screen and she had just that Karen snarl, no offense to anyone out there named Karen, I'm sure you're wonderful. There's just some people, unfortunately, have given that name a bad reputation. She has a very Karen-like face, and I'm like, she must have killed him. It's on my notes. See? You must have killed him.
I see your notes. Literally, she must have killed him. That's what it says, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the wife. It's what I thought. We'll find out later if it is or not. But she's just so rude. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude's trying to... One, obviously, you didn't love your husband that much that you're just continuing on about your life. She just seems so inconvenienced that they were trying to find out what happened to the husband.
Yeah, Vanessa seems to be very cold. In fact, we're going to fast forward a little bit. Michelle goes to her house, and this is what you're referring to, Jason. Like, she is so rude and like, oh my God, do we have to do this now? I mean, she's working out. I don't know about you, but I think she's got something going on with her personal trainer.
Probably.
By the way, who wears all that makeup to work out in?
He does?
I guess. I mean, I've heard from female colleagues, like, that's a big thing that they like to rag on. If they go to the gym and there's a lady there that's got like her face all done up and everything, they're like, yeah, you're not there to work out. You're there to pick up men.
Yeah, sleep with your trainer.
Or sleep with your trainer.
If she had a side piece, like, she should be way happier. I just don't understand her anger.
Yeah, she should be a little more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? You all out there and listening, you know what we're saying, right? You're picking up what we're setting down, All right. Well, let's get back to a few theories. One theory that Ben has is maybe it's suicide, right? And back at the office, he thinks that. They think maybe somebody framed Irwin. Irwin tells Ben all about this mystery person from the previous night, and that piques his interest. So Ben interviews Dr. Barnes. Again, there's this theory that no one can get into Redding's office unless he lets them in. All right. But Barnes drops this little nugget that Dr. Lou, would be the guy that would be the top suspect because he is slated to take over if anything happened to Redding.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what right now. This Barnes character, he's something, man. He falls asleep in the middle of their interview because he has this timetable, which that was weird. And it puzzles Ben to no end, as it would. Ben interviews Dr. Lou, and Dr. Lou offers him some chips. And he talks about how healthy they are. Jason, I feel ripped off. We never got the payoff to find out what those chips are made of.
We did not. I bet you it's on the cutting room floor.
I know. I wanted to hear that it was made from like yak milk or something like that. You know what I mean? Something that Ben would then, have that sour look on his face and be like, bleh, bleh,
Give me a hot dog to wash this down.
Yeah, give me a hot dog to wash this down with, man. Also, too, I will say there were some gross eating noises with Ben, which is a pet peeve of mine. Like, because he, so I'm like, that's gross. Please stop.
I didn't notice it. I did not.
Well, that's a pet peeve of mine, so I'm sensitive to it. Well, the wife was treated lousy according to your. Stop it! You're not even eating. You're just making noises with your mouth.
I couldn't help it.
That's all right. It adds to the flavor of the episode. Anywho, it was a little pun there, ladies and gentlemen. Flavor, get it? Anyways, Dr. Lou says that the wife is treated as equally lousy as everyone else, but he kind of makes the suggestion that maybe she could be a suspect. And so that leads us to the Michelle interview with Vanessa. Michelle brings up that there's no stamp on Redding's passport, and he supposedly went to Brazil. Vanessa claims she was on the phone when Irwin was let into the office. That's why Irwin got into the office, and she says, well, maybe you should check out Barnes because he screwed up another particular job, which we'll talk about that in a minute, and that's why he would have motive to kill Redding. Vanessa does notice, though, that Michelle swipes a paper from her car off the dash, which will come back to haunt them. Okay, I love this part now. Irwin hacks into the cops' network to get a suspect picture. And, that sounds very technical, but yet they printed the picture out on a dot matrix printer. Which is kind of like the opposite of high-tech technology.
What was then?
I know, but
that was state of the art, man. Did you see this new photo I got of my kids? Like, you can almost make their eyes out. I love it, man.
All right. Well, Cassie likes Irwin, so we're gonna get the subplot where Cassie and Irwin, they got a little romance going on. What do you think about this little romance?
After watching Cassie on Quantum Leap, I've got a bit of a crush on her, and yeah, man, she's into the nerds. Give me a call.
So you are for the Cassie and Irwin hookup?
Maybe it seemed awkward. And I know that's what they were going for, but it seemed like an awkward pairing because I don't know. Ben kept describing him as a kid, and I've never heard him describe Cassie as a kid.
No, because they're in their 20s, so they're not technically kids anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
All right, well, Tyler is on the case now. Yes, we get some Tyler on this episode. He also is staking out the Institute, and he sees a man enter the Institute, and a few minutes later returns with an envelope. So Tyler follows a guy to a bar, and this didn't make sense when it originally happened, but I like it. It was very shrewd of Tyler. He kicks a giant dent in the door of the dude's car. And I was very surprised that Tyler ordered a Virgin Mary. I mean, when I think of somebody that's a smooth operator, I'm not so sure that a Virgin Mary is the drink I would pick for them. I would think more along the lines of, if they're not drinking booze, that is, I would say something like a tonic water. Tyler witnesses the mystery guy give an envelope to another businessman. That man leaves. So does the mystery man. And Tyler tries to follow, but gets bum rushed and locked in the closet. This always happens to poor Tyler, man. He needs to start taking some jujitsu classes or something, man.
I do love the obligatory Tyler cameos we get in season 2.
Yeah. Well, Tyler escapes, but he can't follow the dude because the dude flattens all of his tires. And so he's stuck there on the roof. He has to climb down. And so that leads us to another scene of Ben's office, where a very manic Irwin is working on, I don't know, algorithms or something. I didn't understand what he was doing. I really was stumped by it.
Now, it was all very 80s tech.
Yeah, all these computers and whatnot, and I don't know. Well, Tyler shows up, and he tells Ben what he saw, right? He saw this man swapping an envelope to another businessman, and unfortunately lost him. But since the mystery man was driving such a hot car, such a foreign sports automobile, that dent is going to come back to help Tyler because there's only 3 shops in the area, man, that can fix that car. That was pretty slick.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was great. That was cool. All right, let's go to the courtroom. And Vanessa's on the stand. She testifies that she heard Redding let Irwin into his office via phone. Ben interviews Vanessa and states that the credit card receipt that Michelle stole from her car will prove that indeed Redding was not in Brazil, on top of the fact that he has no passport stamp showing he was in Brazil. In fact, Redding was at a psychiatric center getting treatment for depression. So that leads Ben to go back to playing the angle of a possible suicide. All right, Jason, what do you think here of this first courtroom scene?
Well, Ben pretty much totally just discredits her as a witness because he also gets her to admit she lied about the phone call because she was afraid that he had committed suicide and didn't want to lose probably the insurance money that she would have gotten if it had been a suicide. So she wanted to keep people on the murder trail.
Yeah, and I guess I'm kind of also relieved a little bit that there was at least something about mental health and it wasn't like stigmatized in this episode, which I think in the 80s a lot of times it was. So I think it was great that, okay, so he was really not in Brazil. He was getting help for his depression, even though it still was a little bit like stigmatized because, like, you know what I mean? Like, he lied about being in Brazil, but at least it wasn't as bad as, sometimes you might see it portrayed in 80s TV shows.
No, it's handled well.
Well, we go back to Ben's office, and Irwin busts in with a theory that you could write up another program to override the program that would operate the doors, and that maybe this could be a way that the killer was let in. But the shot of him finding that program is like 4 million to 1. And
there's a lot of other numbers that he rattled off.
Yeah, I know. I was like, are you C-3PO? What the hell, man?
Like, chill out, bro.
Yeah.
Star Wars has already happened at this point. You're not getting the audition.
All right, Ben goes to Drake Industries, and he's looking for somebody named Douglas Harding. And I like how Ben just basically explains that he's there. The secretary's not letting him in, so Ben's like, forget it, man. I'll let myself in. He walks right past her. He doesn't care. He's going to rage against the machine, man.
Ben don't DGAF.
Oh, my. Some of our listeners may have to look up what that means.
Hey, it's best than saying anything, so.
Well, when you get emails about washing your mouth out with soap, we'll know why.
Send it to benmattalk@gmail.com.
There you go. And you can also find us on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast or on Twitter, Matt_podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at Mattalk_podcast. So Ben finally barges into Drake's office. I believe it's Mr. Drake's office. And Ben states that Drake and Harding are conspirators in a murder unless they spill the beans as to what the heck the whole swap was of the envelope and the information. All right. I felt like this part of the episode is where I got massively confused because I'm like, what does Drake Industries have to do with the Institute? Were you as equally confused with me on this or what?
Yes, I thought maybe I'd missed something.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, did I miss something? Because there was no real connection. And I'm like, okay. And it even gets more confusing in a little bit. We go back to Ben's office, and Irwin has turned it into a 1988 computer lab.
Who's fronting the bill for all that? Is that Ben that has to pay for all that stuff?
Hey, I guess, man. I mean, you would think he would be blowing a gasket about it. Because, that's a lot of money. He doesn't like to spend money.
It's his sister's son. He loves his sister's son.
All right. Ben then starts talking to Cassie about Irwin's crush on her. And I was like, why is he intervening? Like, I felt this scene was totally unnecessary. But we'll go back to the courtroom. And Ben once again has Vanessa on the stand. And Ben has this weird sensor. And supposedly it's out of calibration. And so all of the scientific tests they did with this sensor is negated because the measurements will be way off. And so then Dr. Barnes gets on the stand, and Ben theorizes that Barnes used one of those bad sensors that are out of calibration. And so that would mess up the alloys that they are making for Drake, who then is giving a kickback to Barnes. Like, this is the one where I'm like, I have no idea what the hell is going on. Because I didn't understand. So wouldn't Drake Industries be a competitor of the Institute?
Not unless they're making products for them.
I mean, well, that was never clearly explained.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that's what they were going for.
Okay, I guess. And so maybe then there was no kickback. I don't know. Whatever it was, the alloy was trash because the calibration of the sensor was out of whack. I can't believe, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say these next words, but I'm going to. Ben decides to take the jury, and in fact, the whole entire courtroom and trial on a field trip.
Yes, they got their permission slips and everything ready to go.
Did they have their sack lunch or their juice box to go as well?
Yes.
So they're at the Institute. And so Ben makes the claim that Barnes could have created this masking program. And so Michelle goes into Barnes' office to run the program. Irwin opens Redding's door. Barnes gets frustrated and he just barges into his office and he totally gave himself away. Like, he's like, how did you find it? And he starts clicking on the computer. And then Irwin goes, well, I just made a duplicate and that's what I used to open the doors. What? That also was not anyways near clear as day. Like, what did Michelle have to leave and go to that office? Like, I'm confused. I was totally baffled by why any of this happened.
Because it's the way it ended, John. I bet you there's a lot on the cutting room floor for this episode. I bet you this was a 2-hour episode that they cut down.
That might not be a bad suggestion, man. I might get on board with that because it just seemed like there was plot threads like just left untied here, there, everywhere. I did like, though, that Ben with the comment, he's my nephew. And then we go to, of course, your favorite part. Uncle Ben gave us a 10 spot to go have a date.
Here's a 10 spot. Go take her out.
Well,
you're a man. She's a lady. You know what to do with that. Here's $10. Go have fun.
Again, is it better that he's pimping out his secretary now instead of his daughter?
I think he's more of pimping out his nephew.
Oh.
He's playing wingman.
Okay, let's theorize. What do you think the date was like? Can you come up with, what do you think? Can I go first? I'll give you mine. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My thought is they probably went to an 80s shopping mall, as you would. And they probably did a couple laps around the shopping mall talking about, their background, their history, their growing up, computers probably. Then they stopped for ice cream. They had a couple of bowls of ice cream. They then went to a movie. They saw a movie. And then at the end of the night, Irwin leans in, but he's denied his goodnight kiss.
Dude, you're way too nice to Irwin. My theory is they went out to a nice little dinner, maybe a late lunch, Erwin went up and go to the bathroom, accidentally had the tablecloth stuck in some part of his clothes, knocked it off the table, came back, food was served. He accidentally spilled the water all over her outfit, and he did end up getting a sympathy kiss at the end of the night. But I think it was a disaster. Because he even said, "Look, Ben gave me $10 to take you out."
Like he's proud of that. Like you should just shut up, put the $10 in your pocket, and not brag that you're such a dope that your uncle had to give you the money to take the girl out.
Yeah, that her boss is paying you to take her out.
Absolutely. All right. Any other notes, Jason?
No.
Then let's get to it. Let's get to our closing statements. This is the part of the podcast where Jason and I will rate this episode. We will rate it on a gavel system. 5 gavels for a fantastic episode, 1 gavel for a lousy episode. Not only will we rate this episode, but we'll also justify why we are giving the rating. Jason, would you like to go first?
Yes, I give this episode middle of the road, 2.5 out of 5. The episode was fine. I did nothing super offensive about it or anything, but a lot of plot holes, a lot of stuff that didn't make sense in the long grand scheme of things. Still fun to watch. Still had Tyler in it ever so briefly. You know, I think I'd rather not have Tyler than have just like the 2 seconds of Tyler, which is weird to say, but I like more of the Michelle and Ben dynamic. And if we're going to get Tyler, I want Tyler in the episode. I don't want him just to pop up for 30 seconds and leave. But it's fine. The Cassie and Erwin relationship was awkward, but that's what they were going for, so that's where I'm at. John, tell me why I'm wrong.
You know from the look on my face, I do not agree with you. I gave it 1 gavel. I thought this was a pretty bad episode. Again,
1 gavel?
One gavel.
You got How Night. Oh, yeah, you don't like 2001, so that reminded you of that.
So absolutely. That gets a mark in the negative column. No, I just the plot, just all the missing information and details that annoyed me. I felt like the acting of Dr. Barnes was a little hammy. I felt like all of the geeks were like very stereotypical. I'm sorry, not the geeks, but the scientists. But they're acting very geeky. I think that was over the top.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell geeks is what we got going on.
Yeah, I didn't like Cassie and Erwin. My only positive was Tyler was in it, and he did some really cool stuff, especially like denting the car. I thought that was really ingenious. But yeah, overall, I'm sorry. I think this was one of the worst episodes, and I'm on board with what you suggest. It might be that a lot of stuff is on the cutting room floor. All right. Well, with that, Jason, anything you want to talk about in terms of your personal podcasting project, the 3 Geeks podcast?
Yes. First off, you can find us every Sunday live at noon. Yesterday's episode I wasn't on. I was out of town at a horror convention, but the guys held it down. They had a blast. It was a good time, I'm sure. And I was nominated for Podcaster Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm just glad to be mentioned with those people. And we're doing our thing. Right now I'm focused on the Sunday at noon episode and then this, and got other things coming down the way. You can find us 3 Geeks Podcast, 3geeks.ninja, and at 3 Geeks Podcast on all of your streaming platforms.
You're not old, so why are you getting a Lifetime Achievement Award? I mean, those are given to old people.
Anybody who's been in podcasting 5 years or more.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
There you go. Enough said. I'll talk about my personal podcasting project real quick. It's called the PVD Cast, and you can find it at pvdcast.com or all those usual podcasting outlets. Ladies and gentlemen, my teaser for this week's episode, well, I'm just going to say it out loud. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. I sit down with a friend of the show, a friend of the 3 Geeks, Mike McG, who has a great YouTube channel called Mike McG TV. And we talk about the top 3 movies that we hate. And some of these movies are very out there and probably borderline offensive. So if you're going to listen to the episode, and please do if you're a movie buff, just take it with a grain of salt that there might be some very startling descriptions of movies that we hate. So
yeah, probably all from Mike. John probably hates 3 movies that everybody loves.
Actually, no, you will be surprised. You will be surprised. I think you will.
Nice.
All right, with that, Jason, let's get on out of here, shall we?
Yes, make sure you check out John's OnlyFans at Ben Orlando. You can find him.
Stop it. There is no OnlyFans.
He has a white wig. It's a good time. Sometimes wears a judge's nightgown. Great. Check it out at Ben Orlando.
All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in court, nothing further. The following has been a joint production between the Three Geeks Podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC, copyright 2022.